Hey look, it's the Goodyear blimp. I think it says Ice Cube is a pimp. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Saturday, June 20th, 2026. I am at Plaza Bonita Mall. We're about to see Toy Story 5 here at the AMC. Fun fact, I used to work at this AMC back in 2010? Yeah, 2010. As my first job, or my next job after Hollywood Video shut down. I was a manager at this AMC. Not like the head manager, just like one of the managers on the team. Which was interesting because I was the head manager at Hollywood Video, so to go back to a place where I wasn't in charge was kind of weird. It didn't last too long at AMC. They eventually laid me off after some reorganization. But you know, I still have some good memories here. It was good to have a job, obviously. I really dig this big old picture up here. I don't know if I call it a mural because it's not a painting, but I do like the film history they have here. You don't see a lot of arcades and movie theaters anymore. Now, I mean, I wouldn't call this like the most comprehensive arcade imaginable, but just the fact that they have video games to play in a movie theater, that's cool. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna see it, but I don't know about that one. So, well, this was the newest AMC in San Diego for a little while, and then they redid the theater at the Chula Vista Mall, turned that into an AMC. That opened after this one, and then the AMC in La Jolla, they had a location, and then it closed, and then they reopened it, I believe, at the University Town Center, the mall in La Jolla. So I'll get to those AMCs eventually. But I like the feel of this one. But what I don't love the seats here. I'll go into that a little bit when I go sit down. This is the back exit. When I worked here, this is where people would come in and try to sneak in all the time. They would just be hanging out by these doors right here. And there's a camera somewhere. I think right over there. I think it's right up there. And we would sit there and we would watch, and we would see, like, you know, the people hanging out by the door. Be like, oh, someone's gonna try to sneak in. And you'd, like, you know, talk on the walkie-talkie. Be like, all right, somebody go over there and wait. And you go stand over there. You kind of stand around this corner. And you'd wait for them to go by. Like, all right, they let them in. And you'd go turn. You'd be like, hey, what's going on, guys? Can we see your tickets? And be like, we lost them. Like, well, if you don't get a ticket, you gotta go. It's pretty fun. These gigantic posters are called bus shelters. I assume because they used to go on the sides of, like, bus stops. So yeah, these are bus shelters. I used to put up the posters in the theater. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time doing that. But yeah, this is the AMC Plaza Bonita. I really dig these pictures of directors. We got Kubrick here. Around the corner, we got Robert Redford, Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese, and Steven Spielberg. And then, oh, what else we got? Spike Lee coming up. Well, that's Steven Spielberg right there. Yeah, Spike Lee and Alfred Hitchcock. The Masters. Who would they put now if he did this? Christopher Nolan, maybe? Jordan Peele, maybe? I don't know. Paul Thomas Anderson. Would Hitchcock be proud of Paul Thomas Anderson? Alright, going into the IMAX theater here at AMC Plaza Bonita. I feel like I'm in the back rooms here. And it's just us. I think we're really early. The movie starts at 10:30 and it's like just barely 10, so. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about why I didn't like these seats. And what's this right here? 13. There's Squirtle. Hi, Squirtle. They just, the backs of the seats, they don't sit up. They like have you lean back, which I guess is comfortable for some people, but I don't like being this far leaned back. I like being able to sit at attention. So anyway, back when I worked here, we could just play the movies whenever we wanted, right? Because we had access to them, and so we had to do it after we closed. Like I couldn't just throw on a movie in one of the houses while something else was going on, right? So I remember when I worked here, Toy Story 3 came out, and I watched it in this theater, this actual house right here. I called up my brother and my sister, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to watch Toy Story 3 like a week early? And they're like, yeah. So I had them come down, and they hung out in the lobby while, or I think maybe I got them a movie in for, because you can see free movies too. And they were there, and I was like, all right, well, when the movie's over, just wait, and then I'll come down here after I'm done with all my paperwork and making the deposits or whatever, and we'll watch Toy Story 3. So yeah, at like 1 o'clock in the morning, we were in this house right here, put on Toy Story 3, watched the whole thing, and I remember I got to the end of the movie. If you've seen Toy Story 3, then you know how that movie ends. Andy. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, but Andy leaves his toys with Bonnie, and I remember there's the part where he goes to take the doll. He goes to take Woody from Bonnie, and she's like, "No, like it's mine." Like she goes to grab it, and he kind of like pulls back to like not give it back to her, and then he realizes like, oh, I need to give the toy to her because I'm an adult, she's a child, like it's time to move it on, pass it on. I just remember I made this like guttural moan noise. Like I was so like overcome with like emotion. I don't even remember what the noise was. Like it really affected me, and it was like a completely unintentional noise. And I don't know if I've ever made that sound again. Maybe I'll make it again today. We'll see. We'll see how Toy Story 5 ends, and if I utter out a noise, I'll keep you posted. Well, that movie was something else, man. Oh my gosh, that was good. It was really good. Highly recommend Toy Story 5. I don't remember what I talked about last time I was here. I think I talked about how this used to be Montgomery Ward's, like where we're standing, where I'm walking right now. Let's see. I'll show you where the end of it was. It used to be like you can tell. Well, you used to be able to tell by the floor, like the tile was different. Let's see. We'll cross over in a second here. Pandora. Need any jewelry? I'm good. If you need any jewelry, just let me know. Hit me up. Here's some jewelry. Ooh, the candy store. That store is like a poison store to me now. Alright, where was it? I think it was right where those stairs were. I think that's where the break was. Yeah, because I used to be, there's like an entrance over here. Upstairs entrance. Alright, that was it. We passed it. We passed by the break. We did it. Well, they've got all my favorite anime characters, like this girl, and this girl, and Super Saiyan Goku, and Master Roshi on a bike, and this one, and Megan Jack White, and Boo, and this guy. Mall walking. What's up, kid? You need to come in here now? Okay. Oh. There's the movie we just saw. Toy Story 5. Let's see. I'm not seeing any Conan stuff. Oh, yeah, here he is. We found him. Here's Conan. There's Conan. Ah, I'm Conan. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this, but yeah, that's neat. The Conan character, like I thought he was just gonna be like some kind of like a cameo, like, you know, side character, and he's arguably like the second lead in the movie. So good for you, Conan. We're gonna focus on this guy or what? Focus. There you go. Arguably the second lead. Anyways, Conan's great. There used to be a fountain here, and there's like a big tower thing with like lights on it right here in the center. Went all the way up. It used to sink down into the ground. Like there were like steps down, and you could sit. Like, it was a place to like just kind of sit and hang out. And yeah, it used to all be all right here in the center. And then they just flattened it all out and added these kiosks. Not kiosks, but these food places. And now Pop Mart thing. I'm saying that like it was like, you know, a year ago. It wasn't. It was like 30 years ago that it used to look like that. This has been flattened out for, you know, since the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s. But right here where this phone fix place is, there was a kiosk that sold NES games. And maybe Sega games as well, but I mean, I was only concerned with Nintendo when I was a kid. And yeah, so it was all right here. I forget what it was called, but yeah, it was like a video game. What do you call these things? It's not a kiosk. It's just a little booth. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, I'm old. Got back from the mall a few minutes ago. Figured I would come walk up to M Theory. Check out what vinyls they got. Look at some CDs. Get some music. I still got NOFX and punk on the brain. So maybe we'll pick up some punk records. Hey, that Toy Story 5 movie was really good. I thought it was a lot better than Part 4. Not as good as Part 3. And, you know, not as... the first two are obviously very nostalgic for me. But, I don't think 5 is necessarily better than them. They're just different. Made in a different time, so... different filmmaking sensibility. As far as the story, it's kind of treading the same ground. You know, toys feeling abandoned by their owners and doing what they can to come to grips with their own relevance. And it's funny, this might sound kind of silly or stupid, but in a way, the NOFX documentary and Toy Story 5 have similar thematic elements. Now, how can that be? One is about a punk band full of drug addicts and alcoholics. Another one is about a cartoon about toys that are alive. Well, in the documentary, 40 Years of Effin' Up by NOFX, Fat Mike and their drummer, Eric Smelly, kind of talk pretty candidly about their childhoods and how they felt kind of alone and abandoned. Mike in particular describes how he was essentially felt like a burden to his parents. His mother would leave him in the the crib and go out and party. He said that at certain nights he was told that his mother would be out and his dad would call the bar where she was at so that he could put the phone receiver in his crib and she could talk to him before he went to bed. Just really wild stuff. Anyways, him and Smelly talked about how they felt alone and abandoned. They kind of turned to drugs for that and other vices, and they just kind of felt alone and they wanted acceptance. And in Toy Story, this movie is heavily focused on Jessie, Toy Story 5, and her feelings of abandonment that were very famously discussed in Toy Story 2. Rears its head again as she feels like her current owner, Bonnie, is again going to abandon her in favor of something else. And so this movie is all about her coming to terms with that, coming to grips with that, fighting in a negative way almost to keep her, turning to things that she shouldn't, and eventually, spoiler, coming to an understanding of the life of a toy in relation to its owners. So it's good. It's a really good movie. A lot better than Part 4. But yeah, it's funny how both movies kind of gave me a similar thematic vibe, although clearly very two different movies, right? Like, you're not going to bring your child to see the NOFX documentary, and if you're a hardcore punker, you might not really be thinking to go see Toy Story 5, unless maybe you got kids. Anyways, good stuff. We're almost to M Theory. Let's see what they have. Well, they're promoting one of my favorite albums of the year so far. Vince Staples' Crybaby. Bears a striking resemblance to a certain political personality. Can't quite put my finger on who it is, though. I don't know. Who do you think it is? Alright, let's see what we got here. Not a whole lot. Makes sense. That'd probably be the one I was interested in, but I already had it. Oh boy. Well, it's fitting that they got this painting of Joey Ramone here on the coffee shop, because one of the CDs I picked up was this Ramones All the Stuff and More Volume 1 CD, kind of like a greatest hits album. It's got all the classics you would expect on there. I know Ramones are a little cliche when it comes to punk music, but I don't own any Ramones albums, and so now I finally have one on CD. Their punk section wasn't super large in terms of like CDs. I was mostly looking for CDs today, and they had some punk stuff and artists that I had, like the Vandals already, and a couple others, but I did see this Big Audio Dynamite CD that I picked up. They are members of the Clash, and they kind of made their own band after the Clash, sort of. I don't know a ton about their history, but I know that they stopped playing in the 80s, and so when that happened, Big Audio Dynamite was born. So yeah, cool. I looked for anything Toy Story related, didn't see anything there, but they did have the Toys soundtrack, and funny enough, this movie also co-stars Joan Cusack, who plays Jessie in Toy Story. This was one of my favorite movies when I was like, I don't know, 7th grade? 6th, 7th grade? Loved Toys, used to rent it at the video store all the time. Big fan. I don't know if I'm like super stoked on like all the songs on this. Probably haven't heard it, but just to have a Toys related thing in my life is exciting to me. So, and closing things out, I picked up this Sebado album. I think that's how you say the name of that band, Sebado. Anyway, I have never listened to these guys, but the bass player from Title Fight, he's now the main songwriter that the group Glitterer, Ned, right? I think it's Ned Russin. He talked about how much he loved Sebado and how they kind of were an influence on him. So I picked this up. It was it's on clearance. It's an old Record Store Day album. So yeah, I'm excited to check that out. Plus it comes with a free download, so I can put it on my Apple Music and listen to it whenever I want. There you go. There's the track list. So if Sebado does anything for you, let me know. Let me know what you think about Sebado. Well, this was a nice, productive Saturday, huh? Got to see a movie, went to the mall, hung out with Ian and Kelly. We built some memories together as a family, and all cried our eyes out during Toy Story 5. If you were wondering if this movie was as emotionally charged as, you know, every other Pixar film, yes it is. I didn't make an audible moaning noise like I did during Toy Story 3 at the ending of that movie, but I was definitely like, I could feel myself getting choked up, and the tears were streaming. Enid was just like losing it in her seat. People all around me were sniffling and crying and making noises and all that. It was something else, man. There's a very powerful moment in that film, and it was good. It was a good one. Get a little misty thinking about it, man. That's how strong it was. So highly recommend Toy Story 5. Anyway, I'm heading back home. Gonna enjoy the rest of my afternoon and evening. Maybe play some video games. Maybe get some reading done. I'm currently reading The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. It's the famous Stephen King Alien book. Well, I guess he's got, what, like 3 or 4 alien-themed books now? But this is the first one that's really alien-focused. And it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of meandering a little bit, but I like where it's heading. So anyway, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just read. I'll listen to some music. Why not? I just bought it. Might as well listen to it, right? Well, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? I make one of these videos every day. Sometimes I go out and I hit up theme parks. Sometimes I go to the record store. Sometimes I go have lunch. Sometimes, you know, I just show off video games or DVDs that I own, my collections of stuff. If that's interesting to you, if that sounds fun, then come check it out. There's a video every single day. I appreciate you watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.